All right, so let me spill the tea on how I met my incredible girlfriend about a year ago. She's legit amazing, smart, beautiful, and everything I could ever wish for. Our connection was instant and we hit it off from the get go. It was like a match made in heaven. We vibed on so many levels, from our taste in music to our love for binge watching the latest Netflix series. And don't even get me started on our late night gaming sessions. She's got mad skills that rival mine. Our relationship was pure magic, and life seemed to be all rainbows and unicorns until the day I met her fam. Oh boy, that's where the plot thickens. So now brace yourself for the drama, because things got hella awkward when I met my girlfriend's family. You won't believe the twist. But her sister's boyfriend turns out to be none other than my ex employee. Yeah, I had to fire him a few months back because the dude was straight up terrible at work. It wasn't an easy decision, but I had to do what was best for the company. Little did I know that this guy was about to be all up in my personal life. Turns out he and my girlfriend sis, Jane, have been dating for like 5 freaking years. Whoa, talk about surprise plot twist. So here I am, trying to keep my chill while her sis, his boyfriend, is sitting right in front of me like he's part of the family. I gotta admit, it's kind of weird seeing him there, all cozy and chill with my girlfriend's fam. Like, dude, you were my employee and now you're practically family to them? It's a total mind bender, and I couldn't help but feel a little uncomfortable with those weird looks they were giving me. I mean, it's not like I have anything against the guy personally, but the fact that I had to let him go for being a lousy worker just adds a layer of awkward sauce to the whole situation. I didn't want any bad blood between us, but I was hoping that he was not holding a grudge or something. Okay, so let me tell you how things started to get messy with my girl's fam. Turns out my girlfriend was kind of the overlooked child, while her sis was like the golden child getting all the love and attention. And of course, her sis, Jane, had no chill when it came to bringing up the fact that I had fired her boyfriend. She didn't hesitate to remind me how I was the boss at work, but just a newbie at the fam table. She played it off as a joke like it was all in good fun, but deep down I could feel the tension and seriousness. The vibe turned awkward real quick, and those side eyes and smirks didn't help either. It's like they were all in on some inside joke that I wasn't privy to. I felt like an outsider at my girlfriend's family gathering. It's not like I expected special treatment or anything, but I didn't sign up for this uncomfortable situation either. I couldn't help but wonder if they were judging me for firing Jane's boyfriend. Did they think I was some heartless corporate robot or something? I know it's just a family gathering, but man, it felt like a trial or something. And my girl, bless her heart, tried to keep the peace, but I could tell it was tough for her too. She's always been the overlooked one in her fam, and now this whole awkward situation was making it worse. I didn't want to cause any drama, so I tried to brush it off and stay cool, but deep inside it was eating at me. I love my girl, and I didn't want to be the reason she had to deal with all this family tension. Jane couldn't seem to let go of the fact that I fired her boyfriend. It became her favorite punchline, and let me tell you, it was anything but funny. She kept making these constant comments, acting all chill and casual like it was just a big old joke. But it wasn't funny, it was hurtful. She loved playing this twisted game of pretending it was all in good fun, while slyly throwing shade at her sister for dating her ex boyfriend, yours truly. Every time she made one of those snide remarks, I could see my girlfriend cringe and try to shut her down. But Jane was relentless, and she mocked her for being too uptight and not being able to take a joke. It was like she took pleasure in making her sister uncomfortable, and it was just plain cruel. The worst part was their parents were in on it too. They laughed along with Jane like they found her jokes amusing. It was like they were all ganging up on my girl, and I couldn't stand it. I mean, it was one thing to have playful banter, but this was taking it way too far. Seriously, sis? You landed the boss at work? I guess it's your way of trying to get special treatment in the family too, huh? And let's not forget about my ex-employee, Harry. He was eating it all up like he was at a comedy show. He probably loved the fact that his girlfriend and her family were making a mockery out of our past work history. I just couldn't even. I wished I could say I took it all in stride, but being the cool and collected Gen Z guy that I was, but it got to me. I love my girl, and seeing her treated like this was breaking my heart. I didn't want her to be caught in the middle of all this mess. I knew I needed to find a way to address the situation, but I didn't want to add fuel to the fire or make things worse. I just hoped that eventually Jane would realize that her so-called jokes were hurtful and that we could all find a way to move past this cringy chapter. Enough was enough. I couldn't stand by and watch my girlfriend, the one I loved, be treated like a punching bag by her sister. So I mustered up the courage and decided to have a serious talk with Jane. I sat her down and looked her straight in the eye. Jane, I need you to listen to me. Your constant jokes and comments about my past decision to fire Harry are hurtful and not okay. It's time to stop this nonsense and show some respect. She scoffed, clearly not expecting me to confront her. Oh, come on, it's just harmless banter, she retorted dismissively, but I wasn't having any of it. No, it's not harmless. It's making my girlfriend uncomfortable and it's creating unnecessary tension within the family. We're supposed to support and uplift each other, not tear each other down. Jane's expression changed from dismissive to angry and she lashed out. Well, maybe if you weren't so sensitive about everything, it wouldn't be a problem. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my cool. I'm not being overly sensitive. I just care about my girlfriend, and I won't allow her to be treated like this. It's time for you to stop playing these mind games and show some maturity. But instead of backing down, Jane's anger escalated. Fine, if you're going to be all high and mighty, then let me make it clear. If your girlfriend doesn't break up with you, I'm done with this family forever. I was taken aback by her ultimatum. Threatening to cut ties with her own family over this? It felt like she was pushing the situation to a whole new level of toxicity. As much as I cared about my girlfriend and didn't want to see her sister drift away from her family, I couldn't let Jane's manipulative behavior control our relationship. I knew I had to put my foot down and protect the love we had built. So I told Jane firmly, you may not agree with our relationship, but I won't let you dictate our choices. My love for your sister is real, and if you can't accept that, then maybe it's time for you to reevaluate your priorities. As I stood my ground, I couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. I hoped that my words would make a difference and that Jane would realize the impact of her actions on the entire family. AITA for being the cause of all this trouble? Update 1. Despite my efforts to reason with Jane, she refused to back down and continued to cause trouble in our relationship. It became clear that her animosity towards our love wasn't going away anytime soon. My girlfriend and I knew we couldn't keep subjecting ourselves to Jane's toxicity. We had to prioritize our happiness and well-being, even if it meant making some tough decisions. After some heartfelt discussions, we decided that the best course of action was for my girlfriend to move out and create some distance from her family. It wasn't an easy decision, but we knew it was necessary to protect our relationship from further harm. Update 2. Despite her fam's drama, I offered my full support to my girlfriend, both emotionally and financially. I wanted her to feel secure and empowered during this transition. We knew it might be challenging for her to find a job and settle into a new environment, but we were determined to face the challenges together. As my girlfriend started looking for a new place to live, I stood by her side, helping her navigate the process. We were hopeful that a change of scenery would bring some peace and stability to our lives. Meanwhile, we both understood the importance of her finding a job to maintain her independence. She has begun exploring various job opportunities, and I provided her with all the encouragement and motivation she needed. Update 3. We both have cut contact with her toxic family and doing well. We are doing better. Thank you for being a part of this. NTA, you're not the a-hole here. Your girlfriend's sister seems to be deliberately causing trouble and making inappropriate jokes at your expense. You tried to address the issue calmly and assertively, but she refused to back down. Moving out to protect your relationship and mental well-being is a reasonable decision. It's essential to prioritize your happiness and stand up against toxic behavior. Hopefully, distance from Jane will allow you and your girlfriend to build a healthier, happier life together. NTA, Jane's behavior is completely out of line and it's unfair for her to create issues and drama in your relationship. You tried to resolve the situation by addressing it, but she ignored your concerns and continued with her hurtful jokes. Moving out and creating some distance from her toxic influence is a reasonable decision to protect your relationship and sanity. It's essential to prioritize your happiness and not let someone's negativity control your life. Next story. I, 15, female, and my mom, 36, female, got into a fight early today because the dishes weren't done. She went to an Elton John concert last night, and I had to babysit my little brothers for nearly the whole day. For some extra context, she goes to AA meeting nearly every night, and when she isn't at a meeting, she's at her boyfriend's house. She came home around lunchtime today and I hadn't done the dishes. Since I'm always babysitting my brothers, I tend to get very overwhelmed and forget to do my chores every so often. If this means anything, both me and my mom have ADHD and are on the ASD spectrum. She immediately got pissed off and started shouting at me, so I walked away to take a breather because I already know yelling back at her won't change anything. She followed me to my room and continued to shout about how I apparently never do anything around the house and need to cut her some slack because I already do so much for you. Take you to your appointments and pick up your medication. The least you can do is show me some respect. I lost it. I yelled back at her that she can't expect me to be mom number 2 at 15, how she's hardly ever around, and even when she is, she stays in her room watching Korean dramas and only ever comes out to make dinner or shout at us. How she never spends time with me, or my brothers for that matter, yet acts like it's such a shock we don't listen to her. How if I did nothing, then she wouldn't be able to go to her meetings, go on stupid bike rides with her boyfriend, or go to concerts when she knows damn well she can't afford it and lets us all down. I told her I won't and can't be the perfect daughter who never gets overwhelmed or depressed or just generally fed up with being nothing more to her than a second parent. And told her that I can't watch the boys, make them lunch, dinner, put them to bed, read them bedtime stories, make sure to pick up the phone when she calls, and remember to do all the chores. She yelled that I wasn't a second parent and she was trying her best and asked if she was a Jillian for wanting to enjoy her life. Again, I yelled and said, "You are, if you're enjoying your life at the expense of your kids, the ones you chose to have. They aren't my kids and they aren't my responsibility, yet you make it that way. Of course I'm pissed at you for it." We haven't really talked since then, outside of her making petty sly remarks whenever I walk past, calling me lazy and a bitch under her breath, like a little frickin' kid. I'm starting to feel like I'm the adult in the house, and it's getting tiring. I got a call from my aunt, and she blew my brains out for disrespecting my mother that way. The whole, she gave birth to you, and she owes you nothing bullshit. So, AITA? A very long-awaited update, LOL. So, hey, IMAO, I deleted Reddit and forgot about this post till tonight, so I figured I'd give you an update. I took advice given to me and talked to one of the guideline counselors about the whole situation. I also started seeing a therapist, not because of the thing that happened in the past, by the way, and asked for her advice. Basically, my mom got invited to one of my therapy sessions, and my therapist, I'll call her Anne because it's just easier, talked to her about my perspective on the situation and offered my mom ways to balance her life and her mom life. It took a while for Mom to listen to Anne, but eventually started working on it. She's not out every night like she used to be, and she's putting some time aside to spend time with me. I never learned how to cook, so she's been teaching me some simple dishes like spag bowl. But yeah, it's been going pretty well lately. Obviously, we've had fights here and there, but she's taken the coping things and gave her to work on, being rude about it, and it's been a lot easier to solve conflicts with her. Also, this is unrelated, but I've got a job interview on Monday, so yeah. Thanks, by the way, for all the advice and support from those of you who commented. I probably wouldn't have told anyone about it if you didn't, so thanks, LOL. NTA, you're doing amazing, sweetie. As an older sister who had to raise her younger sister when I was still a child, I understand you completely. Stand up for yourself. Your siblings will remember this for the rest of their life and they will thank you. Like you, they are not at fault. It's your parents' fault. I think you did great. Don't pay attention to your mom or aunt. Next time they say something to you, tell them they can come and watch the kids all day. Please keep going to school and educate yourself. I hope you get into a college or trading school so you can get a good job and be financially stable. NTA, your mother is avoiding her responsibilities as a parent, tries to parentify you, and is the one who's disrespectful towards you. You did far more than you should have needed to do, and your mother sounds low-key selfish and irresponsible, even toxic. Your mother and anyone who blames you is a total a-hole. Absolutely, NTA. I hope there is someone, a teacher at school or something, you can confide in. Frankly, your mother sounds horrible and irresponsible. It is amazing for your siblings that you stepped up, but it shouldn't be your responsibility. Next story. My daughter, Di, 18, female, is naturally very smart, but also very lazy. We live in New Zealand where you do 3 years worth of exams. In the first 2 years, she excelled excellently and was in the top 5% of her year group. This year, however, I just got an email that she didn't pass the year, let alone get university entrance. Two different sets of requirements. This means that entry into her course and halls of residence has been revoked. I'm obviously incredibly angry and disappointed in her. She would now pathetically be considered in the bottom 5% of her school. We were at our family friends a couple of days ago where all of the teens who just finished high school were discussing their future plans. Di mentioned how she was going to take a couple of years off from school where she wanted to continue working to become more independent and then be a camp counselor, Camp America, for the summer where she went on about confidence and all that BS. This is when I piped in. I said that Di was only taking 2 years off as she didn't actually pass high school and therefore wasn't able to go to university. I then stated how the mentioning of 2 years was manipulatively stated, as a 2 year wait would allow her to go to university through adult entry, despite failing high school, and was therefore not a choice she made. I then looked at the younger kids in the room and made a mention about how this would be them if they didn't get their shit together, and continued on Dia's path of being a pathetic, disorganized, and ungrateful teenager. Di started crying, which she never does, so I felt a little bad, but then realized she brought this on herself. As a final statement on the topic, I said that she can't just lie to everyone about her future plans because she's embarrassed by the consequences of her own actions. If she didn't want to be embarrassed, she shouldn't have ended up in this situation. I got a message from one of the parents last night asking if Di wanted to go away for a week with their family. She said that Di seemed like she needed a break, and she especially noticed it after exam results. Di hasn't spoken to me since she got her results, and I can barely look at her without feeling so angry. So, of course, I agreed. When she came to pick her up, however, she had the audacity to say I needed to let it go and think about if it was the right decision sharing her personal information with the others. She said she was ashamed on my behalf before abruptly leaving. I don't believe I did anything wrong, as it was wrong of Di to lie about the reasons behind her future plans when she needs to own up to it. However, the comment from the other parent took me by surprise. YTA, I live in New Zealand too. If she was flunking NCEA level 3 that badly, you would have been notified by her teachers in the first half of the year. If she failed mid-year, you would have been told. So either this is total BS or you are a neglectful parent who doesn't give a shit about her daughter. She has every right to keep her academic business private. You had no right to expose her the way you did to her friends. I can't wait till I see you posting about how your adult daughter has cut you out of her life. And poor me, I don't know why. Get a grip. YTA. YTA, your daughter failed high school? Where were you? Aren't you the parent? Weren't you contacted? What actions did you take to correct this path? This is your failure too. Your child is just that, a child. Maybe one that is almost grown, but you are still responsible for them. Embarrassing them in front of peers like that did nothing to help your child rebound from this. And they're going to need help because what's done is done, and they are trying to find a path forward, and you just crushed them doing what you did. Opinion 3. YTA. There's a reason someone drops that far grade-wise, and judging by your post, you probably have no idea why, or even care about it. When I had a grade drop like that, I was being physically abused by my boyfriend at the time. My parents had no idea, even when I tried to tell them. But they did what you did. They didn't care why. Why didn't matter, and it was all my fault. His following me from class to class, locking me in a room with him, and tormenting me should have never mattered in their eyes. The day I turned 17, I had them sign paperwork to let me enlist because I couldn't take the criticism or judgment. I couldn't take the shaming. I enlisted when the war was still in full swing. I thought that joining the military and maybe going to war would still be more peaceful than my home because my value to them was entirely based on grades. The success they could brag about to other people. Your daughter isn't your object to shame and praise as you please. She is a whole-ass human with emotions. But you used her as a scare tactic for kids. Have you ever thought maybe she doesn't feel emotionally safe with you? And this behavior is why? Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.